Hey, caffeinators. Welcome to the Tech Taproom, where go ahead and get your drink ordered and put it on Veterinary Viewfinders tab because they got some free poison control advice the other day,
I
and
love it.
they owe our guests some drinks. So go ahead and put it on the Veterinary Viewfinder tab. Dave, you got anything good tonight?
No, I'm still doing my
Do,
exercise thing. I just reached a milestone today after my run. I was dumb and I ran outside again. 85 degrees and a thousand
you'll
percent
never
humidity.
learn.
But I made it to my goal weight. I have lost 30 pounds since April, mid-April. Um, so I'm still pseudo dieting. Um, that's all going to go out the window when we get to Ivex because there'll be many beers to be had there.
Yes, yes.
But I'm still working on my water and being healthy at this point. And foregoing the alcoholic beverages at this point, but soon I will be back on board with you. What are you drinking?
I have a
Well, that looks good.
mhm, single IPA I have on tap here at home. I'm just trying to kick the keg because um, we ordered two new kegs today, one for me, one for Molly, and they'll be here on Saturday. So
Love it.
I
That's
gotta, I
awesome.
gotta, gotta drink that down. So, but yeah, we wanted to come on here and we're trying to do this every month now, and kind of recap our previous episodes, discuss some stuff that's going on, and some stuff that's coming up. So you mentioned Ibex. I say we start
Yeah,
there
let's
before we
start there.
forget
Yeah, we
because
just realized it's a month away.
yeah, we're going to be there this time next month. And we got to still get some swag together. We've got a bunch of stuff already, but we got to get some stuff to bring for caffeinators.
Yeah.
And I know I don't want to say too much because we've discussed it. We don't really have a plan for it yet, but I think it's going to work out where we're going to be able to record a special episode, like
Mm-hmm.
a regular, like on schedule episode, but record it live with the guest and all three of us right there together at
If we can
Ibex,
figure out the live part of
which
it.
I think is going to be super fun. And yeah, I mean, just again, great to see
Yeah,
all of
I
our
can't wait.
people. I hope, you know, I know there's a couple of dozen people you and I look forward to seeing every
Hmm.
year, and it's some people are there some year and some people are there the next. Not
Yep.
everybody gets to go every year, and certainly I missed last year, so I'm really looking forward to going again. And Molly's coming this year,
Hmm.
so going to be a lot of fun.
And
What do you?
I've roped you into doing the 5K.
Yes, we're going to be doing the 5K. And I know you're doing a bunch of lecturing and stuff and labs. What all do you got going there?
I got a couple of lectures. One is going to be on shock, and the other one I'm doing is on the work life balance,
Mm.
or as I'm calling it, the life work balance.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a lot of stuff that I've taken from our talks with people here on this platform. Kind of mixing it in with how I do relief work and things like that. This is a fun lecture to write because it's not medical. It's
Mm.
most of the lectures I always give are going to be medical, and this one is not. So I'm kind of enjoying that. But I'm also part of a group that is doing the medical math escape room, which I just had a meeting trying to coordinate how we're going to do all that stuff. Have you ever done a escape room?
I
No,
have not.
I've done a few of them. They're kind of fun where you got to figure stuff out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And only two of us on the panel have actually done escape rooms, so it's it's kind of interesting trying to teach the other two. This is how escape rooms work. This is how we should do this. But it's been a fun little process, and it's a nerdy math thing that I love to
Great.
do. So
So do they have to solve like complex medical math to get out of the room? Is that the
So
deal?
I don't want to give away too much
Yeah,
information,
yeah.
but the way that we're trying to formulate it is that you get a case and there's a bunch of different math problems and clues that you have to figure out to get keys and combinations to undo some locks and things like that. So
Amazing.
still
Oh,
trying to figure out the logistics of everything, but it's been a lot of fun to kind of coordinate with these guys, and it's something that Karen Roach came up with. one night at the last IVEX of like, we should do this, and
Here you
kind of like
are.
you and I talking, saying, oh, this is a great idea, we should do this,
Yeah.
and like the next day, are like, are we still doing this? Like, yeah, we're
Right.
still doing this, and
Right.
we're almost there. So
Well,
looking forward to it.
hopefully, I'm sure it will be, but hopefully it's as much fun for those attending that workshop as it
Yeah,
is you guys
yeah.
preparing this, because it sounds like a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. Yeah, it's good to like do those like collaborations with other people that are great in VTSs in this field that do amazing things. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how it all comes together.
Gotcha.
And you're
Awesome.
not lecturing this year, right? You're
I am
just
not.
you're just
I'm
going to be an
just
attendee.
attending. I'm just attending. I'm not doing any labs or anything like that. I didn't submit for anything just because last year after Daphne was born, I wasn't sure what this year was going to look like.
Sure, yeah.
And so I just was like, well, if I get to go next year, it'll just be as an attendee. And so I haven't decided for next year, although I think probably I already missed the deadline even
Nope,
to
it's
submit
it's
for
the
next
end.
year.
It's the end of. I think it's the end of September.
End of September. Okay.
Yeah,
So I might submit, but like really anymore, I feel disingenuous talking about anything that's not toxicology related
right.
because that's all I do
That's
anymore.
all you
Like
do now. Yeah,
I'm not on the floor. I don't feel like I can do ventilator labs or like there's other people that need to be doing that stuff now. I in a lot of ways I feel like a lot of the ECC things have passed me by, but I'm staying relevant in what is important to the work I'm doing now, but I'm not as up to date on shock or a lot of those
yeah.
things
But
anymore.
you are of the people I know. You are one of the experts in the field in toxicology. So you know that should be something that
Yeah.
you are the quote unquote subject matter expert on that. So yeah, you should definitely submit
Yeah,
for toxicology labs and
I will do some
or
stuff
lectures.
for next year. Because I think, now we're in a really good place. Like Daphne's going to stay home with
Yeah.
grandma, and
Oh,
so I
she's
think
not
it's
coming.
nope, she's not coming. No,
Oh,
she's
I
mm-mm.
thought she was coming.
No. We initially were thinking maybe we would bring her and bring grandma with
Yeah.
us, but we're just nope. She's just going to stay home and stay with her and or
Okay.
with her grandparents. So I
Yeah.
think it'll be great. So it'll just be us. So we'll
Okay.
actually be away. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Is this
So
like your first vacation away from?
yes,
I want to say
she
vacation. It's not really vacation.
yeah, she actually had to stay with them the other night because I worked an overnight and Molly was day shift, and so like neither one of us could really
Hmm.
be around during the night. So she's already kind of stayed there overnight, so it shouldn't be too big of a
Yeah,
leap.
but this is a
This is a longer thing,
longer
but I
deal where you're
mean,
not going to be right
yeah,
there. Like you can't
right,
just pop over and say, "Oh, we'll take
right.
care of it."
Yeah, yeah, no, but she sees them almost every day, so I feel like it'll be
Yeah.
fine. So
Well,
yeah,
she'll be what, a year and a half at that
she's gonna
point.
be basically a year and like
Yeah.
4 months. Yeah, so
Well, hopefully everything will go well.
yeah, I think it'll be fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
so let's see what else. One other thing I wanted to say too before I forget, we got a new Patreon today,
Yes, we
and I want to
did.
give a massive shout out to Lauren Galato, who thank you first of all very much for your support. She was my ICU supervisor at Tufts. She had a very difficult job of a wrangling all of us, but all of the difficulties of trying to get stuff done on an academic scale and overseeing the ICU, and she 100% did the best she could with what she had to work with,
Hmm.
and I was a huge fan of hers while I was there. I still am, and so I'm super stoked that she jumped on board to support us. So Lauren, thank you so much
Yes, thank you
for
very
that.
much.
Really, really, really appreciate it. Um, the other thing, Dave, I think we really wanted to talk about, it certainly got a lot of traction and a lot of shares and a lot of discussion online, was Steven's recent episode, or excuse me, article.
Article, yeah,
Uh,
not episode.
and it was, kind of an op-ed that he did, and it's titled AVMA, The Ultimate Gatekeepers and Their Disdain for Veterinary Technician Advancement. And it's about a week and a half old now. I saw a lot of discussion about it from
Yeah.
our side.
Yeah.
A lot of shares, a lot of comments and things. Um, I'll admit I didn't see uh, certainly, though, I guess it wouldn't really have been from the AVMA's point of view, so I don't really have any DVM perspective
Right,
on it.
right.
But I'm curious your thoughts.
Um, it brought to light a lot of things that I didn't realize was going on. The things that he pointed out, just the way that the technicians are kind of devalued, I guess, in
Mm-hmm.
the eyes of a lot of
Mm-hmm.
the higher ups in that organization. So, it kind of opened my eyes to a lot of different things that, in my little bubble here in North Carolina, I wasn't really aware of.
Yeah.
So, definitely take a read. It's on Medium, which I've read some stuff on Medium before. And it says it's a 14-minute read. I would say it took me about 14-15 minutes to read
Yeah,
it.
it's a good, long, well thought out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He talks a lot about the mid-level practitioners, and mid-level practitioners for me is one of those topics that I waver so much, just like with the title change of nurse
Mm-hmm.
versus technician, where I see a lot of things where I don't want to say I'm like easily influenced, but I'm open
Mm-hmm.
to good ideas about the opinions of them. And we talked just earlier yesterday about the mid-level practitioner, because you saw it in the human world,
Mm-hmm.
um, and how valuable that is in the human world. And why can't we make that work in the
Right.
veterinary profession?
Right.
I think it's just a matter of we haven't figured out how to do it
How
yet.
to do it, and that's just it. Like we just have to do it. And I think on some level, like regardless of your thoughts on the mid-level practitioner or where we are now, whether forget about the time, because we've had Steven on the show a couple of times, and he's talked about just how much he hates the title, and I think we all do. I mean,
Yeah, we all do. Yeah,
it sounds like whatever, but um, at the same time, like we have to be working towards something.
right.
Like all these things, yes, I completely agree. There are a whole lot of ducks we have to get into a row
Oh yeah,
before we tackle some of these other things, but we still have to have something out there. We have to have that carrot out in front of us that we're
right,
working towards. I
right.
truly believe. Otherwise, we're really not going to do anything. We have to have a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan, a 20-year
Yeah,
plan, like something that the reason that we are doing this is because then it's going to lead to this. And then once we do this and, the dominoes start to fall, then this is ultimately where we want to get to. And as you were saying in it, I think this tap room will probably actually be released before our next episode. And
yes, it will. Yeah,
just a quick background from what you were saying. I saw a head and neck specialist last week for my migraines and my neck pain. And she was the migraine specialist at this neurology clinic, which was a clinic of like 6 or 8 neurologists. And she was the migraine specialist, but she was a PA.
right.
And but I felt like perhaps maybe more so because she was in that role and was not an MD and a boarded neurologist. She listened to me. She took like a very thorough history about how long and like change of presentation or onset of my symptoms, all of that stuff. I felt like she listened to me and interacted with me in a way that previous neurologists have not. And I feel like that's true for us as well, in that like we interact with clients in a very different way
Hmm.
than veterinarians do.
Right.
And I think that's a key piece that frankly they don't really get in school is
Yeah.
that like you can, I've said this before, you can be the best, you can be house, right? You can be the best diagnostician
Right.
out there, but if you can't like in this field, if you can't communicate to clients those results or why you need to run the test that you do, you're never going to get anywhere.
Right.
And I think there is really room for this in this field. 2023 is not the time. We are not there yet, but it's on some level it has to be a goal that we're working towards. And I think I think that goes to Stephen's point, but the larger point overall is that the AVMA doesn't really seem interested
Yeah.
in allowing that to happen. And I think there's going to have to be at least this generation and perhaps one or two further generations of veterinarians retire before we truly have a significant amount of veterinarian support. From what I saw in my time in academia, veterinary students, interns, residents, they know the value of credentialed technicians and they know the value of VTSs and what they bring to the practice, because we, frankly, are the ones that teach them a lot of these skills
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
in veterinary school. But if they come out into practice and they're coming into practices that don't have those people, or veterinarians that graduated 20 years ago that were not taught in that environment, to me, I understand it's a bit of a stretch that they would just accept that we have this skill level and this knowledge when they've never seen us utilize it. Molly and I were talking before I jumped on here for this tap room today, that much like I will say, there's a lot of veterinarians that graduate vet school with a DVM that I wouldn't trust to take care of my cats as far as I could throw them.
Yeah.
Frankly, there's a lot of RVTs that I would not trust to care for my cats that graduate as far as I could throw them. Like,
Right.
just because you have those credentials doesn't mean you are on that level. Like, you still have to, you know, not prove yourself, but like you have to demonstrate that you have this knowledge, that you have this skill. It still has to be that thing you work towards. And I just think that we are still, unfortunately, at least a generation, if not two generations of veterinarians away from
Well,
really be able to do
yeah.
this.
And one thing that I've been thinking of is that, you know, the one of the downsides of it is who's going to fill this role, who's going to be this mid-level practitioner. And Stephen mentions this in his article about, we've got VTSs, we've got RVTs, we've got LVTs that can do some of these things, and why are we just ignoring them and not promoting them to do some of these things? But the other part of that is you know, when you've got like you said, RVTs right out of school, DVMs right out of school, they go through like a training period of, this
Right.
is how you operate on this level. And I think we're just naively thinking that we're going to have these mid-level practitioners that were like business graduates that decided they want to be a mid-level practitioner, and then day one we're sending them out to do
Right.
surgeries and diagnostics and
Right.
things like that, which really isn't going to be the case.
Right.
I,
Right.
I would think that at some point there's going to be some type of training program and some type of on-the-job
Yeah. Yeah.
internship where they kind of get that.
You would hope. In
Yeah,
human medicine, I mean, you don't graduate vets or medical school and go right into practice. You have
right,
to do the
exactly.
internship. You have
Yeah,
to do the after the school work before you go out into practice, and that's not the case in veterinary medicine. You can
yeah,
graduate May 30th,
and
and be a
and
practicing
spaying the
DVM
dog
at
on the first. Yeah,
whatever. Yeah, no, right, exactly. And so, there has to be some level, again, standardized education, and that's why I say we have to check all these other boxes first. Like, I'm not saying that it has to be a bachelor's degree or the master's degree, but like probably everybody should at least have the AAS. I think, what is the I would like to ask this PA, because I don't know, like, what her
yeah. What
education level
training did
was
she
and
get?
her training. Like, it's like, do we have to model this after the human profession? And because, I mean, that's where the roadmap is really going to
Yeah,
come from. And so
we
I think
steal all our
there's,
stuff from the human world, anyways.
right, absolutely. And so, yeah, I mean, just more soapbox stuff about, you know, we're not there yet, but I do think like it still has to be in the long range plans. Like,
Yeah,
we as a profession still have to be work working, growing with an eye towards that in the future,
yeah,
and understand that maybe 2023, 2025, maybe even 2030 is not the time, but hopefully there will come a time, probably before many of us have retired, or moved on or left the profession, but hopefully somewhere down the road that will be a thing. But I genuinely appreciate people like Steven that are, and Meg Harrington, who was a
right.
guest on our podcast previously, that are out there like fighting these battles and making these things happen now. Um,
and
because
making
yeah,
noise.
it would be great if it was there now, but like there's a few things we got to do first as
Yeah,
it's been well
it's not something
documented.
that
Yeah,
can happen overnight. And we've been talking about this for what, good 2 years now, 3 years
right.
maybe,
Yeah,
and it's not something that's going to happen very
right,
quickly. It's
right.
something that's going to take time.
Yeah.
And the point that I wanted to make was that just because this kind of gets thrown out, I think because of the way that it's being presented, it's getting a lot of pushback right from the start, which is hard. It
Hmm.
makes the whole process even harder.
Right.
Um, and we were talking to Kelly about, I forget what was the term she used instead of tech utilization.
Collaboration.
Tech collaboration. Yes. So putting technicians or VTSs in that role is only going to improve our job satisfaction. It's going to improve our
Hmm.
self worth. It's going to improve the care that we can give. It can give other technicians something else to strive for,
Yeah. Yeah.
to just kind of move forward.
Right. And I said this when I was working in academia. Because of my time at Tufts, I felt like and I've said this several times before. I know you've heard me say it, but I felt like so many of the problems in veterinary medicine originate in veterinary school.
Right.
And I would love to see, like, because all the faculty I worked with at Tufts were very supportive of the VTS role. We were utilized to our fullest capacity, frankly, because we had to be,
Right.
but we were. I got to do things I never would have done at the urgent care that I was working at, where I actually obtained my VTS.
Hmm.
But take it a step further. As faculty, as a veterinary school, invite the AVMA board of delegates or house of delegates or whoever it is, invite those people in and say, this is what these people do. Like, don't just support us in the building, support us outside the building and
Hmm.
make it known to the stakeholders. And by stakeholders, I mean like the AVMA, who we are and what we actually do for you in your setting. Like, it's one thing to promote us to the veterinary students and to utilize us in the building, but it's another like bring the AVMA in and say, watch these people, spend the week
Hmm.
here, go across all of our services, watch the VTSs in IM, watch the VTSs run dialysis for 4 hours,
Yeah.
watch them do this down in radiology on call, radonc. I don't even
Right
know
on.
what the,
Yeah.
like cardiology, like watch the VTSs throughout this hospital, and then you might have an understanding of why they're looking for what they're looking for. But until then, like these people probably don't even work in hospitals
Yeah.
anymore.
That's
Like,
the other thing is I don't know who, I don't honestly, I don't know
I
who's
don't
on the
either.
board, but I would imagine they're not veterinarians that are right out of school that have
No,
the ability to work with VTSs.
no,
They're probably people that were, I mean, I don't want to age anybody, but it could be people that were veterinarians before there were VTSs.
right,
I mean, that's
right,
entirely possible. And
right.
like you said earlier, it's going to take a couple generations of
Yeah,
cycling through till we get to the people that are graduating now,
right,
that are getting into those positions, that are
right.
going to be supportive of us.
Right. And I just think like I think I strongly feel the veterinary technician field at large can bang that drum till the cows come home. But until
Until we
veterinarians,
get their
and not
support, yeah.
just veterinarians, I'm talking veterinary specialists, like our diplomate colleagues, until they actually beat the drum for us
Yeah.
for a while,
And also the people
we're stuck.
that are in those positions, that are making those decisions that Stephen was talking about in
Right.
his article. Like, until those people are going to be supportive of us, I mean, we're stuck.
Right. Exactly. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Mm.
So
Anyways,
anyways, enough about that. I mean, you and I could just sit
yeah,
here and discuss that all night
we could
long,
do that
but
all night.
I know it's getting late for you. So let's recap our previous two episodes.
Yeah. So Jack Pye was the ultrasound
Hmm.
guru. Amazing what he's doing. just found one avenue of our profession that he can help out with,
Find your
and
nerd.
made it his nerd. And I love that for him. I
Mm-hmm.
love that for what he's doing for the UK. I love that for what he's doing for technicians over there. Sorry, nurses over there.
Mm-hmm.
But that it was great to talk to him. You know, he was somebody I forget who pointed him out to me. I want to say that was like back in December or January, and we finally got around to getting him,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
coordinating and all that stuff. But it was great to finally get to talk to him.
Yeah.
Um, that was I really enjoyed that. And plus,
Yeah.
he's got a British accent, and I
Right.
just love listening to the British accent.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, no, that was a great episode, and it was kind of one of my favorites along those lines of like finding your little spot in
Yeah,
bedhead. Since Brian's bandages,
yeah,
I really enjoyed that episode for the same reasons, and obviously, like we touched on a lot about life as a RVN in the UK as well, and education, and the ECC certification and VTS and all of that. But we talked a lot about where he's blazing this path with
yeah.
ultrasonography, and it kind of reminded me a lot of when we were talking with Brian about the same kind of thing
Hmm.
about like this is my thing and this is what I want to
Yeah.
do, and come hell or high water, I'm going to make it
Find your nerd.
happen. Find your nerd.
I think we just coined a new T-shirt.
Oh
So
yes,
I will make that T-shirt
very
tomorrow.
nice. And I'm going to make some stickers.
There you go.
And then our most recent episode that uploaded was Kelly Foltz.
Good,
Dear,
big
yeah,
friend of the
dear
podcast.
friend of ours. It's funny. The last IBEX I went to, which was 2 years ago now, when we were recording with Kelly Foltz, or before we were like leading up to that, because Molly doesn't listen to the show, but she always asks who we're talking to or
Yeah.
whatever. And she's like, "Who are you talking to this time?" And I was like, "Kelly Foltz." It's like, "Do you remember at the last IVEX we went to, the first person that came up to me and hugged me at check-in at registration?" And she's like, "Yes." And I was like, "That was Kelly
That was
Foltz."
who it was. Yeah.
And we talked. She's doing so much. Um, I guess I'll say on the legislative side, but I don't
Yeah.
even know if
Yeah.
that's right
I
because
don't
it's like veterinary technician education and
regulatory
schooling.
side.
Regulatory side, that's
Regulatory. Yeah.
probably a much better way to put it. So we talked to her a lot about CVTEA and accrediting veterinary technician schools, and then the tech utilization task force that she was on, and just fascinating discussion.
Yeah.
And we didn't even get to
No,
some of the
we're gonna
research
have to have
she's
her back.
doing, yeah, on futile care. And I've kind of already been having side chats with her. We're going to have her back on in the not too distant future
Yeah.
because there's a whole episode of other things that she's doing and working on that is completely fascinating and not just amazing for our patients, but amazing for veterinary technicians.
Hmm.
So we're going to have her back on before too long to discuss about that because that was like
Yeah.
it would not have done either conversation justice to try
No.
to fit
No.
that all in an hour or so. Definitely download and check out those episodes if you haven't already. We've got another couple great episodes coming in the near future.
Yep.
Um, Molly and I were just talking. She's like, do you ever see like an end to the Vet Tech Cafe? Do you ever feel like not relevant anymore, like you're
Yeah.
running out of material? And I was like, I'm always concerned that we're going to, and
Yeah.
we just don't.
We just don't. I mean, we keep finding people that are interesting to talk to, that have a
Yeah,
great story to tell, and um, I, I
and are
mean,
doing
they're
amazing things in this field
amazing things. Yeah.
that we want to continue to highlight
Yep.
because, like, I, I mean, I think now more than ever, like it's easy to find a lot of that stuff online and
Hmm. Hmm.
Facebook groups and whatever else, but there's still so much out there that I think people aren't going to see or hear, and this is
Yeah.
just another way for them to find
Yeah.
different things that they can do or other people to look up to or role models or hear other conversation or
Hmm.
discussion. And so yeah,
I
I don't know
mean,
about you,
and
but I don't see us going anywhere anytime
we've
soon.
said this before, is like, even if nobody downloaded a single episode,
Mhm.
we just love having the conversations with these people, like two introverts,
Yeah.
enjoying having conversations with
You know,
sometimes complete strangers.
I saw a meme and I'm gonna find it again and send it to you, or maybe it was a TikTok or something, which of course I don't TikTok, but I saw it on social media, and it was like, why is it that anytime two guys want to get together and talk about their feelings, they make a podcast? And and I felt attacked,
Yep.
and I felt like, well, here we are.
Yeah.
And,
Let's just lean into it. Let's just
yeah, exactly. Though, you know, like I felt like everything that we've talked about along those lines has been very real, but we're also doing this whole other part where we shine a light on all these cool
yeah.
people
Yeah.
that are doing amazing things that other people in our field need to know about, and maybe
Yeah.
give them something else to think about. In our most recent episode, which I won't give too much away because it's going to upload, it's the next episode coming out after this.
Yeah.
But, you know, at some point, most people are going to transition off the floor.
Right.
And so it's either finding something else to do or leave altogether.
Or leave altogether, yeah.
And the
we can't afford
reality
that.
is, right, A, we can't afford that. B, as a veterinary technician, there are things you never even thought of as a possibility. And I will leave that as a spoiler or a trailer for our next episode, because
a teaser. It's a teaser.
A teaser, yeah, because I think that's like exactly what that next episode is.
Yeah, yeah, and the person we talked to, I really enjoyed that conversation too.
100%.
A lot of great insight onto what she does. You know, with her remote position, I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. And it's another person stuff. Like that we've had on this show that you and I would have never known her,
right?
Never really probably interacted her with in any other fashion in the roles that we have, and two, I would have never known that was a position a veterinary technician could hold.
Right, exactly. And so, as things always go with how small this community is, we know mutual people.
Yeah, true, right? Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I think that was all the ground we wanted to cover for tonight.
Let's see what else we got on our list. The Not One More Vet race is starting in September, so that'll be what 2-3 weeks from when this uploads.
Yes.
We got a team already started. I'm sure Beth Armstrong is going to blow us all out of the water. I don't know how she does it. I don't know if she's like riding her bike to work or what she does, but she always gets like 500 miles, and I'm like, I'm happy with my 50.
I will vow to ride my bike to work every day in September. I don't know how I'll get up the stairs, but I'll try.
That'll probably total what, like 0.1 mile?
Not even that.
Not even that.
Not even that. But I will do some extra riding. Now, like, Daphne's of age where, like, we got one of those things you can put on the back of a bike, like the little tent things to like be able to. So she's at an age where she can like sit back there with her little cup of snacks and a cup of water and be completely content. So hopefully it's not too blazing hot and we'll be able to get a few miles in. But
and you're going to get 3.1 miles at IVEX.
3.1 at IVEX. And we are definitely going to have Veterinary Viewfinder buy us a beer at the finish line.
Yeah, Becky, if you're going to be there, I want a beer.
Yes, absolutely. Well, what do you think? Anything else?
I think we're good.
I think so.
We did a lot today.
Yeah, we did. We covered some ground. So, caffeinators, stay tuned. The next episode after this one, and really the next few are going to be great. We're going to have a special episode from IVEX in September. And just a lot of cool stuff coming. So thank you everybody for your support and the continued downloads.
Bye everybody.